When I first started producing music, I was obsessed with learning how to mix songs. What plugins do I use? How should I shape my EQ? How do I balance my tracks? But after a decade of experience, I'm convinced that there's another equally important skill that most producers fail to recognize. That skill is songwriting. In my opinion, by far, the most overlooked part of a professional sounding production is the songwriting and arrangement. And in this video, I'm going to show you why it's so important when crafting your songs and how to get better at doing it. If you've been stuck in a rabbit hole of YouTube mixing videos and your sound still isn't great, stick around. This video will change your whole outlook on music production. Before we get lost in the weeds, let's get on the same page about songwriting to make sure we're talking about the same thing. It means different things to different people, but for this video and to me, it means the actual composition of the melody, the lyrics, the chords, and the instrumentation. Songwriting affects the obvious things like your vocal melody or the lyrics of your song, but it also refers to the notes you choose for a bass line or the drum pattern you end up programming. At its core, songwriting is the song itself. Without having a strong melody or chord progression, adding in the extra bells and whistles won't matter at all. In my opinion, it's the building block of good music, and I'm convinced it's fundamental to music production. In fact, if you get your songwriting right from the start, it will make everything else incredibly easy. And I can almost guarantee you that your song will sound better because of it. Mixing is still important. I'm not saying there's no value in watching YouTube tutorials. Hell, my whole channel is dedicated to teaching you how to produce better. Subscribe for more, by the way. But I want to turn a spotlight towards some of the other important aspects of the production process. Mixing won't fix a badly arranged song. It won't make your out-of-key bass line magically sound good with your chords, nor will it make a bad melody catchier. You've got to get these things right beforehand. I, along with so many producers I know, used to think that my tracks sounded noobish because I didn't know how to use an EQ or a compressor. But the truth is, it wasn't my mixing that made my songs bad. It was my songwriting. I'm telling you, people, if I chose better sounds, if I picked better bass lines and drum loops, if I spent half the time working on the melody as I did fiddling with the EQ, I would have had much better results. At its best, I'd estimate mixing adds an additional 30% of polish to a track. That's not even a third of the song and its influence that it'll have. That other, more important 70%, that comes from the song itself. The songwriting. Okay, so I've made my case for songwriting, and if you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan. But to better understand this concept, let's go over the different parts of songwriting and learn more about them. After that, I'll give some tips to improve each individual section. To start off, we'll tackle what most people think about when I say songwriting: the melody and lyrics of the song. Dare I say that this might be the most important part of your song. Anytime you have a lead vocal, the listener will automatically focus on it. It's the center point, the bullseye, the primary part of your song. So make sure it's good. Even if you don't sing your own songs, work with your singer or lyricist to make sure the melody of the song works really well. Go and listen to your favorite tracks and notice how good their melody actually is. It's that important, people. Here are some general pieces of advice you can follow to improve your melody and lyrics. Include silence and space in your melody to emphasize the rest of the parts. An easy way to do this is by humming your melody. Change the melody and lyrics to match the intensity of the part of the song you're on. For a verse, it should be probably more subtle. For a chorus, it should probably be more energetic. Focus on the catchiness of the melody above the lyrics. This is a bit controversial, but in my opinion, a catchy melody can have mediocre lyrics and still work. But that same relationship doesn't work the other way around. Repeat the main melody throughout the song. This could just be on a chorus, or it could be on one line that repeats itself, but people love repetition, especially if it's a strong melody. Almost as important as the melody and lyrics themselves are the chords and arrangement of a song. The chords will determine the overall mood and vibe of a track, while the arrangement will take the listener on an emotional journey. Many times as the part of the song changes, say from the verse to the chorus, the chords and the energy change with it. And the big problem I hear with amateur mixes is that their arrangement and chords don't change enough. With TikTok attention spans rivaling goldfish, the days of a 3-minute long verse are long gone. Keep the song interesting by constantly evolving the sound and changing the chords and arrangement. This is all a part of the songwriting process. Here are some of my guidelines I follow while I think about the chords and the arrangement. Change the song section and chords often to keep the song flowing and interesting. The chords determine the overall feeling of the song and should decide the lyrical content. Take the listener on an emotional journey with energetic highs and lows throughout your song. Songwriting is an iterative process that takes time to master, but the best way to learn it and improve at it is to do it. If you're really serious about improving, start by stripping your song down to its core elements. See if your song still stands up with just a guitar and a singer, or just a piano and a singer. The best ones often do. If your song is strong with just a few instruments and chords, you can start adding more to fill out the sound. Each part you add should contribute to the song and not take away from the strength of the original chords and melody. For each part added, ask yourself, is this better? If not, either rework it until it is, or get rid of it. If you can start with this bare bones approach to music making, you're bound to improve one of the most important skills you'll need to craft a hit song: the songwriting itself.